Welcome back to Running with Coach Tori.
And Jeff.
And we are bringing you the running news from the week, whether it's to entertain you on your long run or to give you something to talk about with your running group. We've got you covered. And first, I want to address the elephant in the room. We did record an episode and talked all about the doping scandal of the past couple weeks and our thoughts and media coverage and reactions to that. And I messed up the audio. So it's not like we're trying to hide from talking about it. We did talk about it. We recorded. We talked about a couple other things. And if I can ever fix the audio, it will come out late. But we did talk about it.
Yeah. And I was against doping and Tor was in favor of doping.
Oh my gosh. Wait, I definitely didn't say that, right? I feel like I sometimes say ridiculous stuff, but no. We're both against cheating. We're both against all of that, but we still love track and field. We're not in the camp of like track's ruined because you can't trust amazing performances. So all that to be said, we're not going to get into it again because, you never know with technology now. I may be able to save that audio. So I have like no running updates because I was sick and then that was kind of it. I was like sick and then recovering from being sick and then, just catching up from life when you're sick. So I haven't been running at all. And you're in Florida. Have you been running?
I have been, yeah. So I run 2 days, take a day off, run 2 days. Still, I'm pretty consistent in Florida. I seem like my routine I can get into here, but at home I have lawn to take care of and a bunch of other things that distract me from, committing the brain power to sort of doing it every day. But yeah, I'm pretty consistent. I'm back down here in Florida, so.
Well, that's good. You're ready to win that race we end up doing, whatever that will be.
I'm ready to book that too, by the way. So you want to decide on that right now?
Sure.
I have the website up. I thought we would do 2 races, a 5K and a 10K. 5K maybe in September, October, and then a 10K a month later.
All right. Sure.
Yeah, even though I'm not really trained, I mean, I find a 5K, we talked about it before, 5K, because most of my training is sort of those easy runs right now to get that base down, the speed that you required for a 5K, I am sucking wind in the first like 800 meters, and it doesn't stop from that point forward. But yeah, because I don't do a lot of speed work until I get really a great base down. It's like the last thing I start training for. So, but there's a September 6th may not work, but that's a Coatesville 5K.
Oh, okay.
That may not work because I'll be dog sitting, I think, that weekend. So I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think I'm out for that one. But that was probably the perfect 5K. Then we get into sort of, let's go with late September. I'm trying to find ones that are in your area. There were a couple here that I saw that were, Philadelphia. Here's one in Downingtown.
Okay.
September 13th.
All right.
You down for that one? It's the 5K, the Aiden J. Hart Safe Communities 5K.
Sure.
All right. 9/13. We're gonna come up across maybe another one in a few minutes, but okay. So let's put that one down. That's at least near you.
Right.
I'm gonna keep scrolling because there are a few other ones that we did before that I thought was good. In fact, there was one on the migraine one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I got a trophy there one time.
Yeah, I think you did. So. Yeah, Miles for Migraines. That's September 28th. This is a Philadelphia one because the one we did, I didn't think was in Philly. I thought it was somewhere else.
Yeah, it was like outside of Philly. It was on a trail.
All right, I'll look at that one too. That's September 28th, 9/28. All right. All right, so I won't spend any more time on that. And then 10Ks. Let's. Well, I won't bore everyone with our determining that. We'll just announce that later on then which ones we're doing. But those are the 2 options for 5Ks. We'll book a 10K the month afterwards. We have a plan though.
All right.
Now we got to get in shape.
Yeah, no, seriously. It's in the books. We went to the Y on Sunday to play basketball, and then it was at the end and everyone was tired. So I was like, I forget. James wanted to like do boys stuff or whatever, and he's like, can you go do something else? I was like, I'll go run just 1 mile on the little like loop outside of the Y. And I was like, I'll be so fast. Don't worry. I ran a 7 minute mile and I was like dying. I'm like,
That's pretty good.
how is that possible?
I don't know. 7 minute miles not terrible. I mean, if you haven't done any speed work, that's not terrible.
It was more just like surprising. I was like, how it felt faster. You know what I mean? I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I must be running like at a much, quicker clip here. And I'm like, oh my gosh, no, I'm not.
Yeah, it does feel like, I mean, again, we're my way past my prime, but it does feel like, a 75-second quarter. I mean, I ran a quarter mile in high school and a little bit in college. Certainly can do sub 60, low 50s.
Yeah.
So I got to believe that, a 75-second quarter, right? You'd say that's coasting, and you got to do it 4 times. I should be easily. That's for a 6 minute mile. It's like that should be easy.
Yeah,
It's
you would
not.
think. It's
It's
not.
not.
It's not. Not anymore. It's not.
Not anymore. No. I would hope if we trained for it, we could certainly do a 6 minute mile.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I like honestly think I could.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
no.
might be able to do one right now. I mean, even though you weren't, you did 7 recently. I'm sure if you really went out there and did it a couple times, you could get 6. I don't
Yeah.
think I could.
Yeah, so I guess I'll start training now that there's something on the calendar. I have a little over a month to get my butt in gear. All right, now that we've bored people with our, updates and things, let's get into the news before I get interrupted again.
Okay, well, let's start with the sort of like what we were just talking about was just getting in shape. I'll start with the second story. All right, so we're going to attach an article. Joan McDonald lost 68 pounds, beat arthritis, ditched meds, and inspired 1.9 million people in her 5 daily habits for lasting change. So, by the way, she's 78 years old and
Okay.
doing like squats. She's actually jacked. So for a 78-year-old. So I thought her points were sort of, you know, good life advice, and I have a few that I've actually recently done. So her core habits, and these aren't her 4 or 5 things, but her key habits were strength training 5 times a week. That's probably a lot for most people. I would say you really can get away with like 1 to 2 to 3. Probably three
Mm-hmm.
is ideal. 2 you can get away with, and even 1 just to maintain is probably fine. Tracking macronutrients, right? The proteins, carbs, fats in your diet, and hitting the right balance between those three. Staying well hydrated, and getting 8 hours of sleep a day. Those were sort of her core habits. All great advice. And then her 5 sort of secrets were, and again, secrets of life lessons. Start with what you have, right? So don't try to be perfect. Just be consistent. Go out there every day. Move your body daily. Sort of fits right in there. The same stuff. Strength training. Um, really just sort of empowered her and sort of gave her the core fitness, helped her overcome some of the arthritis. Consistency wins. Um, find your tribe. This is not necessarily my motto, but this is like finding people that support you. In this case, it was her daughter and some coaches that sort of helped her along the path. It is good to find people that are in your camp and help you sort of stay true. And then fuel with purpose. Again, tracking those micronutrients, macronutrients, and cutting out some of those foods that aren't great for you. So in that vein, I made a change in my life recently. I took a lot of sugar out of my diet. So about a week ago, took out all um, sweet drinks is what I've changed. So I've sort of tried to make a change that I could sort of stick to long term. Um, and I suspect I'll lose probably 10 pounds over the next 4 or 5 months if I can stick to it. So,
What sweet drinks do you drink?
so if I it, so soda, lemonade, iced tea are the three that sort of if I have pizza, I love having soda with it. If I have
Hmm.
Mexican food, I love having either lemonade, soda. So something sweet goes along with those foods for me, great. Um, but once I allow it in, it's not just if it's not just with that meal, then it becomes every day. Even if I'm not having Mexican food or pizza, I do still love having a soda with everything else I'm having. So um, yeah, so just for me, I'm a person that's all or nothing. So I like to just cut it out completely. Um, so yeah, I feel a lot better without it. So less inflammation. Um, so
Well, that's
any sort of
good.
yeah, you're a healthy person, right? So what are the things that you do that are sort of like those great habits that people should be doing?
Uh,
Like you do
well,
mushroom coffee, right? I would never do mushroom coffee. I do creatine coffee now, by the way,
I
which
do
is just
mushroom creatine coffee, which is great.
do you do mushroom and creatine in there?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
I think creatine is one of those great supplements, and it's got a lot of favorable evidence behind it. And it's also one of these ones that's not like a new fad. It's not the, oh, it's going to cure all. It's not a cure all.
Yes. Yeah, because I have a pretty I get like a strong reaction to whatever the little like newest fad is, or like someone giving like you got to do these things and you're gonna be like for longevity, and I start just like I can't stand it. But yeah, creatine. I think it was a running podcast actually. I first heard someone talk about it outside of just like when I was in high school, the boys being like, "I'm gonna get huge muscles and
You're
whatever."
jacked on
Right.
creatine, man.
And I was just like, oh, that seems horrible. So it was the first time I heard about it just in like an actual practical sense, and then like looked into some studies and stuff and was like, okay, I'm down with creatine. So yeah, so that's like really kind of the only thing I do with that. I do drink mushroom coffee, and honestly, I don't have any idea if any of that does anything helpful at all. But I was like, it's not hurting me. So, and the one I have is like less caffeine because I find myself often like creeping into getting just like regular coffee and then doing all the caffeine, and then anxiety just goes through the roof. And then I'm like, well, this can't be good for me. Um, so monitoring that is probably one thing I do. Um, but as you know, I'm a big make everything from scratch person. So I think that's like one of the biggest changes we've made in the past couple of years of like more of like a health thing, I guess, of just like finding out where our food is coming from and trying to just do, if it's going to be something that's 1,000 ingredients, like we're not I'm not making that for one, and we're just not having that. So it helps us have a better idea of like, okay, how much added sugar are we actually getting into things? Because your girl loves sugar, and we definitely still eat a lot of, like, last night we were making cookies and all the things, but at least I kind of am like, all right, there's not like sugar in my pasta sauce that I had no idea about, or all the whatever other things and everything that's all over the world. So that's really what it is. Because like I said, I'm really not a big like this is the life hack kind of thing, because I think it's like so easy to fall into like the life hack traps, and now you're like, why am I not having these results? It's just like it gets to, I don't like when someone's like, if you change this, you're gonna fix everything. It drives me nuts. Um, so yeah, that's kind of like our like the biggest thing. And obviously, like we're outside all the time, moving around all the time. It's just kind of like the way we do life. And I think that's also, we've talked about this on an episode a while ago of like, even if you're not training all the time, you have that memory of your muscle memory of like, this is how I know my body can work. I know what I can push my limits to. And if you're still active to some extent, like those things come back much faster. So that's kind of where I'm at currently.
Yeah, you're probably at the next level, right? I mean, I think making your own food is probably the highest level you can get to. It's a commitment that
It is
I
like a full-time job.
yeah, and I do make a bunch of meals, which is just a bunch of raw ingredients, right? The black beans, quinoa, chicken. But I try to check labels. And I try to keep the bare minimum number of ingredients if I can. But yeah, certainly if you making all your own meals and stuff, and even having your own garden and growing some of your own food, that's a level I can't get to.
Yeah, it
But
is
but
like
I'll
the
try.
trend.
Yeah. So the news this past weekend was USA track and field. I know you're not a track and field huge lover. I know I am. Since I put the news together today, I was all over USA track and field. Um, like 4-day event, right? Friday, no, through, yeah, 4 days, Thursday through Sunday. Um, and the team has now been determined. Did you watch any of it?
No, I saw highlights while
Okay.
scrolling for the social media because it was also the CrossFit Games this weekend, which I also did not watch,
Oh,
but I saw highlights. So let's try
okay.
to keep
Is
abreast
it
on the
over?
sports. It's over. Yes, it is.
And who were the winners? Did we anyone? I know I don't know any of the players
You can
that are.
guess who won on the women's side.
Is she's still doing it?
10th time. She wasn't going to, Miss Tia Claire
Yeah,
Toomey.
but
She wasn't going to. Last minute, they were like, you got to decide now or never. And she's like, all right, fine. I'll go to the games. And she came and won, of course.
wow. Did she miss?
Crazy.
Did she miss 1 year or no? She didn't miss any
She
year.
missed 2023 because she either just gave birth or was still pregnant or whatever it was. So she
Wow,
missed 1 year. But yeah, so she's now an I believe, 8-time winner, 10-time participant.
fantastic.
Crazy.
Okay,
And the
that's
guy
crazy.
was like someone Hopper or something. I don't know. Maria said that I was like, I don't know who that is. She's like, oh, he's like been there, but So, yes. But anyway, no one really cares. No one tunes in here for CrossFit updates. But yeah, so lots of sports happening this weekend. So I did not watch any of them, though. I need the recap on USA track and field. Who's on the team? I saw there was like some upsets, or I heard there was some upsets.
Yeah, we'll just go down the list quickly. I'll just, if there's no exciting news in that particular event, we'll skip it. And I'll start with the men's first for no reason other than it's on my list first. The way it printed out. 100 meters, I don't think any big shocker there. Noah Lyles wasn't running it. So Kenny Bednarik won it. He's been phenomenal this year. 200 meters, there was a little bit of controversy in the 200
Mm-hmm.
meters. Noah Lyles came from behind, beat Kenny Bednarik, Kenny's first loss of the year. And Noah Lyles, which I find to be one of the most unlikable guys on the planet.
Yes,
I don't know
agreed.
why, but he gave sort of a cocky stare as he passed by Bednarik in the last 10 yards, 10 meters. And Kenny gave him a little shove. Not enough to knock him down or anything, but just a little bit of a shove, like, hey, don't disrespect me like that. So that was a little bit of a controversy. They seem to try to squelch it pretty quick. They're on the World Championship team together, so we'll see how that goes. But I find that Noah Lyles came across as completely unlikable, and maybe that's my own bias.
So yeah, no, and I honestly feel like I used to be like, oh, he's just playing it up. And honestly, I'm just like, no, I think he just like is. This is just the way he is. He's just unlikable, and I'm like, I think even if he tried to be likable, it wouldn't come off that way. This was a little confusing to me because I again did not watch initially, so I just was like hearing about it and seeing highlights. And obviously, I like Kung Fu Kenny way more, and I'm a Kung Fu Kenny fan. So, yeah, like fine, push him. I don't care. But it seems weird and like the stare, like okay, whereas like that is unnecessary. Like I think we all can remember, I believe it was the Olympics or whatever, where Sha'Carri did something very similar. In the 100 meters where she's like crossing the line, she looks around, you know what I mean? Like we've seen other people do it. It's like, okay, cocky move, whatever. But when we like them, we're not like, oh, that annoying person. So like, harmless as it is, the shove, probably not necessary. But then I was maybe justifying. I'm like, oh, what if like because he's now staring, he's like now getting in the way and Kenny's trying to slow down and he's running over Noah and he's got to push him. You never know. Yeah,
You
and then
sound you
again,
sound like a defense attorney for
for
Kung
sure.
Fu Kenny.
For sure. And then I'm like, but right after, then Kenny's kind of like, sorry, man, or whatever. And you see him like try to give him a high five, and Noah's like, not really. It doesn't look like he's having it. And then even when you're hearing after the fact where, Noah's like, my coach says to say no comment. And he's like, well, what about whatever? And he's like, no comment, no comment. And then Kenny's like, yeah, oops, things got out of hand. It's just like, it just comes across so different. So yeah, so weird for sure. Also, I don't know if you're going to talk about it. Like, what was up with everyone not being in the 100 meters for the men and the women's? Like, I saw people were like scratching from things left and right.
Yeah. I mean, Fred Curley wasn't even there. Yeah, I think what it is Noah Lyles and Shakira Richardson both have buys to the World Championship because they were the defending World Championship. So,
Oh, okay.
So yeah, both had buys in the 100 meters to that. Noah had a buy in the 200 meters as well.
Gotcha.
So I think they could be in the world championship. We'll get to Shakira Richardson shortly.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
figured. I figured.
Yeah, so just jumping ahead a couple of these, the 400 meters. I think the only thing I saw there was Quincy Hall wasn't even in the race. He's the defending
Mm-hmm.
Olympic champion, and there was no reason for his absence, like no publicly stated reason for his absence. So that leads to speculation on is it injury, is it health issues, or is it a doping violation that's not come out yet? So
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to hope it's one of the other two or some other explanation as to why he just, there's no reason. He hasn't given a reason why he's not at the championships.
Right.
800 meters was exciting. That's one of our events we tend to like. A guy came back from a sort of a 2-year absence with a serious ankle injury and foot injury, Donovan Brazier, to
Mm-hmm.
win it. And then, a 16-year-old came in second. Cooper Luptenhaus. Um, that's my best pronunciation I got for it. Luptenhaus. Um, Amazing for a 16-year-old. He set the under 18 and the under 20 world records in that race. Amazing. 1500 meter was also extremely exciting, as you can, those are the ones we've talked about before with Cole Hocker and Jared Naguse as sort of the U.S. favorites.
Yeah.
But yeah, that didn't pan out that way. I don't know whether you saw any highlights on that one. Naguse, he led for 3.5 laps, sort of like he did in I think at the Prefontaine Classic. Um, sort of went out there really hard, and everyone stayed with him. It wasn't as hard as maybe the Prefontaine, but he faded at the end, just doesn't have a kick, and he got out kicked in the last 200 meters and came in fourth, so he's off the team.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
Crazy.
yeah,
Bummer.
Jonah Koech, he's actually Kenyan by birth, but he became a U.S. athlete in 2018 or 19, a U.S. citizen. So he won it. He was talked about, but not necessarily certainly one of the favorites. Ethan Strand, 22-year-old, came in second, and Cole Hocker, the Olympic champion, got third in the U.S. trials. So that was a bit of a shocker.
Yeah, shake up.
Yeah. I'd say the only other highlights I would mention in the men's side, 5,000, Grant Fisher did not win. Cole Hocker won that one. So,
Yeah, I heard
I,
that.
yeah, I mean, I know a bunch of people run the 1,500 and the 5,000. I just haven't seen him in the 5,000 recently. And I was just sort of surprised he was in it and surprised that he won it and beat Grant Fisher. So, 10,000, sort of as predicted. I don't think there's anything surprising there. Uh, Here's a shocker. I'm gonna skip the women's events. I'm sorry. Skip the field events. Sorry, not the
Oh,
women's.
I was like, huh? That is a shocker. Oh yeah,
No,
skip the field. Forget it.
yeah, skip
It's a
the field.
track podcast only.
Yes, that's right. Track and nothing.
And
Hey, on the women's
CrossFit.
side, Melissa Jefferson dominated the 100 and the 200. No shocker there, other than Shakira Richardson. She was in the 100, and then the story came out on Friday that she had been arrested, spent actually like 18 hours in jail for domestic violence at the airport. Did you see any of the story on that one?
I did. What you'd sent me the like whatever this initial headings of like this happened. And then I believe it was like letsrun.com. I saw them talking about it briefly. And then I wasn't sure on the timeline of like when she had scratched from whatever. I guess I wasn't really paying attention to the fact that she had a buy, and I was like, well, that makes sense why you're not running now. All very weird and just like unfortunate. And again, I guess some of it is still like speculation of like what all happened, but like there was some things that were verbal or not visually confirmed of like what happened. So I feel like you can talk about that a little bit. But it's just a bummer because she is, well, obviously like we all got excited in the Olympics. She was amazing. I think she really had a turnaround from when she first came on the scene of being so inconsistent, and then she had like the drug stuff, and kind of you really saw her like buckle down, focus. She was all about the I'm not back, I'm better. And from talking to like people who have teen or even younger girls who are runners, like really felt inspired by her, and she was really becoming like a role model for especially young women runners. So just to see that, it's just like, you know, such a shame. And I get that no one's perfect, and you know, people don't ask to be in the spotlight or whatever, but it's like, you know, there's never an excuse to get physical with someone. So that's just a bummer.
Yeah, you know who her partner is?
Yes. Well, I mean,
Christian
like
Coleman.
barely,
Yeah,
because I'm
Christian
like,
Coleman.
is
Yeah,
he
he's a
good?
he was in the
Sorry.
U.S. Championships as well. Yeah,
Correct. Yeah. Um,
yeah. So
so
he actually declined to press charges. So I think it's clear
I saw
now.
that.
Meaning, I don't think there's actually going to be a case against her. So I think that means it'll just get dropped.
Right. But it's
So
still like you're someone who gets violent with your partner. That doesn't go away. We still see that, you know? So,
yeah,
case or
many young
not.
women like it. Yeah. So I was kind of like 4 years ago when she got, I guess it was marijuana, right? That sort of got her
Mm-hmm.
banned 4 or 5 years ago from the Olympics. But people loved her before then. I guess her versus sort of a null. I just don't know what connects with people. Maybe she's got a great social media presence. Maybe you said she inspired like a lot of young women runners. So I mean, you knew about her way before I did. Um,
Mm-hmm.
what about her made you just like sort of connect with her?
I feel like she definitely was like a personality. Wasn't afraid to just like be loud, be on social media, kind of like a little more outspoken, as we know, like the better version, I think, of like what Noah Lyles is, right? Like she's not afraid to try to like, right, but like she's, you know, she's putting herself out there. She's, you know, showing the good, the bad. I'm a real person. All those kinds of things. And I think she had like, you know, an underdog come up story about like life was really hard for me, and here I am working my butt off, blah, blah, blah. And like obviously then she like had some standout performances. So everyone gets excited about that. You know, she's done some of the flashy with the nails, the hair, the racing get ups, you know, like she's always just doing a lot. I think that makes track fun for people. Yeah, and I think she just it was like one of those like nice stories to see like someone who had a hard time turn to track, and you know is trying to be better, and you know that was kind of that. And I think at least what in my opinion, and maybe that just speaks to like my values or whatever, like the drug thing, I was like, you know, inexcusable to like make mistakes like that, because you know rules are rules and you know the rules, so like why be that
Come
dumb?
on, it's marijuana.
I know, and but that's what I'm saying. Even if it was like even like the, you know, whatever silly things, it's like, but you know that you're not supposed to do that, so why would you jeopardize? It's just like, to me
Yeah.
that just seems dumb, right? It's not even about like, do I think this is wrong or not wrong? It's like, you know, you're not supposed to take that, so you did anyway. So like that was just my issue with that whole thing. But again, I think that's not like a that's not an inexcusable thing, right? Like we can all get over it. She made a mistake. She, for whatever reason, thought the rules weren't going to apply to her. But I think when you're doing things that I deem morally more of an issue, and speak more to like your character and what kind of growth you would need to make to be the kind of person who should be a role model, then like yeah, I definitely you know, I'm slower to excuse those kinds of mistakes.
Okay. So let's go to another woman
You're
who's
like,
sort of
let's
a
pivot
role.
away from
No,
this.
no, no, no. We're good. No, I think you covered it. We nailed it. So I was just going to move on, just so this isn't like an hour long podcast for
For sure, because I definitely won't have an hour. Wreck It
you.
Ralph's only so long, so
Yes. So another woman who's an inspiration, I think Sydney McLaughlin.
for sure.
So 400 meters, dominant performance, basically blew away the field. There were some people that were a little disappointed that she didn't break the American record. I mean, she was close, 48.9 versus I think it's 48.7. It's a
Mm-hmm.
20-year-old record. Um, so it was it. She is. I don't think there's any doubt in my mind that she will win the world championships in the 400 meters.
For sure.
Yeah, it's just one of these generational athletes who can do a lot. Probably, I won't say she can do anything. I think we saw she could lose in the 110 hurdles, and the 100 meters she can lose in. But again, just an absolutely phenomenal
For sure. And you know what? That's one of the things we talked about a couple episodes ago of like when we were talking about, continuously breaking your own world record, like,
Yeah, Mondo.
right, exactly. Yeah. We were talking about Mondo. This is why we didn't even go into field events, right? We can't go there today. But yeah, I mean, I love to see that she is now going after something else at the moment because again, yeah, she's been the best of the best in the 400-meter hurdles for a long time. Why not see her be the best of the best in something else too? And I get that it's like still similar, it's the same distance, but I'm like, you're doing a completely different thing. You're not going to see 400-meter phenoms be like, I'm going to try the hurdles now. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I love to see that she's doing something different instead of just continuing to break the her own 400-meter hurdles world record. So
Yeah,
I like
yeah,
it.
yeah. And I think we could see, I don't know that we've ever seen someone do like at the Olympic level, 400 meters and the 400-meter hurdles in the same event. So
Mm-hmm.
we'll see. We'll see if she does try to do both. Maybe in what's probably now 3 years out.
Mm-hmm.
So then 800 meters, no story there. 1500 meters, again, probably no story. Nikki Hiltz
Yeah.
takes that
Nikki
one.
for like
Yeah, I think
the
she's
millionth time in a row.
Yeah, she's phenomenal. She's phenomenal for a U.S. athlete. I mean, I don't want
True.
to
Yeah.
too much. I mean, I think when you get into these upper middle distances to long distances, I mean, it's just
You
dominated
just
by
can't hang.
Ethiopia. Yeah, Kenya and Ethiopia, right? So on the world stage, we've seen her in some big events. She'll have a hard time cracking the top three. I suspect she probably won't medal at the World Championships if it's a normally stacked field. But again, I like her. I think she's an inspiration. I think she's great.
Yeah.
5,000, I thought was a good story. Shelby Houlihan, we talked about her on a few episodes ago, probably
Mm-hmm.
actually a lot of episodes ago.
Yeah.
She's the athlete who was the best American 1,500 meters 6 years ago, and then got a 4-year ban for what she claimed was a tainted burrito. That's probably the funniest part of the story.
For sure.
But
Hilarious.
she took the 4-year ban. Not that she had a choice, but she did. She came back, and she's running at a high level, and she won the 5,000 meters. Now again, on the world stage, I think the world is still dominated by, like I said, Ethiopia, Kenya.
For
So she'll
sure.
have a hard time, but she's got a shot. I think she's got a shot to medal, but we'll see.
Yeah, no, it's one of those weird stories. You're like, it's hard to, as a not cheater person, to be like, put yourself in the mind of a cheater of like, if you're gonna be good anyway, like why? You know what I mean? Um, so yeah, it's just I'm glad she's back and doing well and seemingly not accidentally eating tainted burritos and whatever. So good for her. Brings it back to CrossFit too. If you remember, I think it was one of the first years we went to the games. Ricky Garrard, who was, I think he got second place, was then disqualified for doping and was given a ban. And now he is back and he won second place at the CrossFit Games
Wow.
this year. Yeah. So again,
Yeah,
weird. Like you were good enough anyway. You just didn't believe in yourself, I guess.
yeah. I'm kind of shocked that CrossFit actually does doping tests. To be perfectly candid with you.
From what I've heard from no one official, it's very like it may or may not be more of a subjective type
It's a loose
dealio.
testing
Yeah,
program.
or
Yeah.
like if we're friends, I'm gonna tell you when I'm coming, kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
no speculation. I've just heard that from.
we're just riffing here. So
Yeah, yeah. What do I know?
um, I'll also, since I trashed Cranny, Liz Cranny on a few episodes, and Grand Slam actually wasn't good. She was
Hmm.
having a bad year. Um, she did finish second in both the 1,500, the 5,000 and the 10,000. So she's on the U.S. team.
Okay.
She looked better in these championships than she has at Grand Slam track. Grand Slam track, she didn't finish in, I don't think, in the top three in any of the events we saw.
Right.
But again, maybe on the world stage she'll still struggle, but she did look better in the U.S. Championship, so give her due.
For sure.
The other good story I thought was out there was Dalil Muhammad.
Okay.
400. She won the 400 meters
What'd she run?
hurdles.
What time?
She ran 52.65.
Okay,
So probably not, Sydney McLaughlin would still smoke her, but
for sure.
uh, she beat Ann Cockrell, so
Okay.
who was second place. Um, so I think it was a great performance for her. She has a chance to medal, I think, also at the World Championships. So again, good story. She is also one of these people that, again, I'm not sure I always know why people get connected and how she she is beloved.
Mm-hmm.
All of the other hurdlers just basically say that she was the inspiration for them, and she's been doing this for a long time. So um, kudos to her that for just again sticking with it for all these years and being still at the top of the game.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I like remember back when I think I still ran like track, looking at her, and I never was allowed to run the hurdles for some reason. The coaches never let me. I guess they were like, "You're not coordinated." But I remember being like, "I want to be like her."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. She's a great spokesman for the sport. So
Yeah.
um, yeah, I didn't mention Grant Fisher on the men's side. Maybe I did, but he didn't win either one of his two events, even though I think he is viewed as the best American men's distance runner. He got beat by Cole Hawker, and he also got beat by I can't remember who beat him on the men's side on the 10,000. So
Yeah, I mean,
Nico Young, yeah,
oh yeah, yeah.
Nico. So um, yeah, that's all I really have. I think I'm looking forward to the sort of the World Championships and seeing how that goes in a month or so.
Yeah, no, that'll be exciting. For sure. Hopefully everybody enjoyed our advice episode, and if you didn't, it's because you didn't write in enough good questions. So feel free to send us some emails with questions for us to answer that are running related, at least to some extent. Did you have anything else?
Nah, that's all I got.
All right, then we will catch you guys next week. We will have finalized whatever races we're running. So if you are local and want to run too, please come and run them, but do not talk to us because we are antisocial. But you can wave to either of us.
No, you can talk. You can talk to Tor. Don't talk to me.
Yeah, we'll have to come up with some kind of like secret code. Like, please do not bother the introverts at the race.
Yeah, actually, we actually love talking to people.
For sure. Exactly. We can pretend. But yeah, so we will have that finalized for next week. Make sure you like, rate, review,